What I'm going to teach you is something that, again, it's sort of different from what the approach that your textbook will go after. But I think it's going to benefit you next year in junior high because I know they talk about this. They talk about party, war method. Okay, party slash war method. Okay, you should write that down. If I write it down, you write it down. Write it neater than me. Okay, and basically here's how this goes. Things are party, and again, I'm just going to kind of go through this, and then we're going to do lots of examples on how to do this. So if this doesn't quite make sense to you as I'm writing this stuff down and as you're copying down the information, that's okay. There will be a time for that. All right, so we're going to write down when combining integers use party war method. When combining integers, use party and war method. So here's what party means. Party. Signs are the same. When the signs are the same, we're going to add. Tell you what, here's what I want you to do. For the word same, write same in a different color. That's what this color is. Borrow one of your colors here. When colors are this, or when signs are the same, and then we're going to write add in that same color, okay? Add and keep sign. Keep the sign. Kind of ran out of room there. See if you can put it all in that one line so we can fit everything there. Party means when the signs are the same, we're going to add the numbers together, add the integers together, and whatever the sign is, and what I mean by sign, I mean positive or negative numbers, we're going to keep that sign. Okay, again, that may not make sense quite yet, but we're going to do some examples. As soon as you guys are done writing, we're going to see some examples of that. If you have a party, if you're throwing a real party, right? You have people that probably all have something in common. They may have something that's the same, right? Maybe they're the same age. Usually, if you throw a party, you're probably inviting people that are about the same age as you, right? For the most part, peers. So, and are there less people or more people at your house? There's more, right? So we call this party because of that. You know, when you throw a party, you have more of something. You have more than what you had before. So here's what I mean by this. Okay. If I have, let's say -4 plus -7. Now, one rule that I'm going to have you guys do is you always want to circle your negative numbers. Okay? I'd want to circle my negative numbers. And then I say, hey, let's look at the signs. Are they the same? Do I have negative, right? So they're the same. Therefore, we are at party. When the signs are the same, we are at what's called party. What is this? Okay, it's a negative party. Probably not the most fun party to be at, but it's a negative party. And when the signs are the same, what do? We add the numbers. You wrote it down yourself. We add the numbers. 7 plus 4 gives us what? 11. And the sign stays the same. So my answer is what? negative 11. On the same token, if I have 3 plus 9, these are both positives, right? So is it going to be a positive amount? Yes. I don't need to put the plus sign. Remember, we don't need to really put the sign if they're positive. Eyes on me. We don't have to put the plus sign if it's a positive. It's just sort of understood that it is. So I add the numbers together and I end up with 12, and it's a positive 12. Okay? Yes. No, you did. That's why I've said some of you guys might have heard this before. Yes. You don't have to write this down. No. We're just going to stick with this. Okay, now, war. Let's talk about war. I'm going to start this over here just in case I run out of room. War. Signs are, and now you're going to need a different color of pencil. Find a different color of pencil for your notebook. I'm going to do the same thing. Here's a green. Somebody wants. And we're going to write down different. Comma, subtract. And keep the sign of the winner. People are thinking, if you don't know this party or war thing, if you haven't heard it before, some of you are thinking, what in the heck is he talking about? It's really a good once you give it some time to kind of simmer a little bit, you will understand, and it will be something that will be very, very useful for you. Okay, so when the signs are different, subtract and keep the sign of the winner. I'll get into this once everybody's done writing. Okay, so we have -7 plus +3. And like I said earlier, we always want to circle our negative numbers. This acts as a reminder for you because it's easy to see that, hey, wait, only one of these numbers is circled, the other one isn't. This would be considered a war situation. Now, if you think about wars, okay, and you've got like two armies that are fighting each other. At the end of that war, are there going to be more or less people alive? There's going to be less. I mean, that's just sort of the unfortunate acts of war is that, you don't typically see armies fighting each other and there's the same amount of people when that thing's all over with. Okay, there's usually less from both sides. So watch how this works now. When we are at war, what did you just write down? When the signs are different, like they are here, we've got a +7 and a +3. This is what I like to look at. I don't like to see this even as an addition sign. I like to see this as that we are combining these two integers. It's almost like this is a +3, a +3. Do you see that? It's almost like this little operational sign really just goes with this 3, saying it's a +3. So if I'm combining -7 with a +3, I'm at a war situation. So what do I do in war? Subtract. That's right. So I've got to go 7 minus 3, which gets me 4. Which gets me 4. Then that answer takes the sign of the winner. If I've got -7, and +3, who's going to win that war? Who's got the most? The 7. So that means that this is going to have a negative sign. Okay? Does that make sense? So the winner is going to be 7 because there's just more. There's more of them than there is the positive. So we have -4 as an answer. Okay. Let's see another example. How about +5 plus negative? Let's keep it like this. How about -3? Okay. What do I need to do? Circle my negatives. I've got a +5 and a -3, and I'm combining those, correct? Okay. I'm at party or war? I'm at war, so what do I do with these numbers? subtract, okay, and that gives me 2. And is it going to be a positive 2 or a negative 2? Why? Who can tell me why? How come, Lily? We have more positives than we do negatives, and therefore the positives are going to be the winners. So this assumes a positive sign, which we don't really need to put. We only need to put those negative signs. Okay? I mean, that, in a sense, is really it. Now, I want us to write down a few more things in our um, in our in our journals to just remind you about how we do this. Okay, step 1. Clear, underline that, clear the double negatives. I won't talk about this until tomorrow. So let's write it down right now. Clear the double negatives. Step 2. Right here. Circle, underline circle, the remaining negative numbers. Just like we did. Circle the remaining negative numbers. Step 3, side, party or war. And then simplify. That just means solve. Okay? So this is the nuts and bolts of what we're doing today. Now it's time to do lots of practice. If you can really master the whole addition of integers, and especially using this party or war method, subtraction you'll find, which is what we'll really focus on tomorrow, you'll find that there's no problem at all with subtraction. I mean, one extra little step, and that has to do with clearing the double negatives, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that tomorrow. Okay. Okay, on page 78. I mean, number 1 is pretty basic. We've got 9 plus 3, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, come on, man, this is like preschool. Maybe, but again, we're looking at this through a different lens now. We want to look at this, in this party or war method, because it just even on these basic problems, it just really reinforces the thing that we've been learning. Okay, I've got a positive 9 and a positive 3, right? Is that a party or war? Why is it party? No. Let me have somebody raise their hand. Elias, why is it party? It's 2 positives. It's the same sign. So when things are the same sign, what do? We add. We add the numbers together. So we have 7 plus 3, and that gives us, I'm sorry, 9 plus 3, and that gets us 12. And it's going to remain a positive 12, right? Which you don't need to put there, but it'd be a positive 12. Now, let's look at number 2. Number 2 might be a better example. We've got negative 4 plus negative 2. Why are the parentheses around the negative 2? Why? No, Lily's got the mic right here. What? Yeah, that might be, but why do you think the publishers? Because the publisher doesn't talk about circling the negatives at all. Why do you think those might be there? What? Yeah, I think they just don't want you to get these operational signs mixed up, like the plus and the negative or the minus, whatever. That's why they're there. It's if you don't like them, if you don't want to put them there, then don't worry about it. Maybe you can just use those parentheses to circle that negative, and then you're going to want to circle this negative. We circle the negatives, right? So in doing that, are we at party or war? We're at party, right? So again, what are we going to do with these numbers? Add them together, and then because they're both negatives, what's going to happen over here? It's going to be negative also, so it'd be a -6 as an answer. Okay. Try number 3 on out for size. We've got 7 plus -9. Circle that -9 on your whiteboard. Show me what you get. Show me what your answer is going to be. Okay, board's up. We're at war. Are we at war, guys? Yeah, absolutely. We're at war. We've got -9 fighting +7. Well, who's going to win? The negatives are going to win by how much? When we're at war, we need to subtract 7 from 9, and that gives us 2. Our correct answer would be -2. Okay? How about number 4? We've got -3 plus 6. Circle those negative numbers. It's like another war situation to me. Board's up when you're done. Okay. Because we're at war, we need to subtract, right? Now, who's going to win this war? We've got +6 and -3. Who's going to win, positives or negatives? Positives are going to win, right? And by how many? 3. Okay. Got it? All right, good. We're going to do some more practice.